Hello again, it's time for an oil change, and since there's so many different recommendations from random people all around the internet, I thought I should make a video of how to change the oil and filter from the official Porsche repair manual. So then you'll know how Porsche intended that to happen. If you store the car in the winter, like most people here in Norway do because of all the salt on the roads, then I contacted my local Porsche center and they recommend to do the oil change before the winter. So the car will sit with fresh oil over the winter, and then you're all ready for when the season starts. I've already warmed up the car, so now we are ready for step 1. And that is to start with undoing the oil plug on the crankcase and drain the oil. It will come out sideways here, so I'm going to move the car a little down after releasing it and start draining. So after a few minutes it's just gonna stop coming less and less, so I will change to a smaller container here so I can move the big one, or empty the big one and move it over to the oil tank. I just use old cans from windshield wiper fluid to store them in, and then I can just deliver to whoever receives old engine oil. Like it's about 1.5 liters or something. Then comes the most tricky bit. You have to drain the oil container, and here it's very important that you counter with the top plug here that's welded onto the tank, so you don't put excess pressure on the tank. And that's a 27mm. I have an adjustable here, and then loosen the plug, which is a 19mm. And here the drain is straight down, so you have to make sure it doesn't make a huge mess. So I'm just gonna first loosen it and then drain the oil. When you take out the plug, you just push up to hold the oil in as much as possible until you hear that or feel that all the threads are out before you remove it. Okay, that was less messy than I feared, but it definitely drains out very quickly. Okay, now we'll just let both places drain out until it stops. I think I read somewhere it takes about 20 minutes. Then the oil reservoir is empty, and just gonna move over the oil again. We have over 5 liters of oil in the oil tank. A little over 5 liters, not too much over 5, max 5.5. So after about 20 minutes, the crank is still dripping a little bit while the oil tank was completely empty. So I just put the plug back in so I don't make a mess while I do the turbos. Then the next step is to drain the oil from the turbos, and it is an 8mm Umbraco. So I just start with one side. And it's just a very small amount. Then we finish off draining the oil with the last plug on the other turbo. On the other side, the washer was kind of stuck up there, so make sure you get that when you take the plug out. Now that everything's drained out of the bottom, it's time to change the filter. So we just clean up a little bit around here and add some paper. Then use this special wool tool. I got the one specified in the manual, which is the Hazet 2169. But in Norway you can also get ones from Biltema for Audi, which seems to even have a snugger fit actually. So there are some options, but the Hazet one is the one specified in the manual. Then we just need to suck out the excess oil that's in the housing there. I just clean out the rest with a clean piece of paper. Then everything is all nice and clean. It's always smart to just look through the filter and make sure that there's no metal pieces or everything from the engine. Then before we put the new filter in, we change the gaskets. There's one gasket on the tip here and one on the end. When you buy the filter, the one on the end usually comes with, while this one you have to get separate. I will put all the part numbers for the gaskets and the washers in the description below. You put the gasket back in the last groove, and then the filter is ready to go back on. Then after cleaning up the plug a little bit and changing the washer, we put in the crankcase plug again and tighten it to 70 Newton meters. You can see that there has been a little more oil coming out when I removed the oil filter. But now everything is drained out again. Just make sure the washer sits nice and flush. And that was the 15 millimeter. So then it's time for the oil reservoir plug. And I think I am gonna do a small upgrade here actually. It works well as it is, but there's always a slight risk that you can damage the tank if you slip or something like that. So to make it a little easier to drain the oil from the oil reservoir, I am going to change to the Stahlbus plug. I bought a little set directly from the manufacturer, and it consists of a plug with the valve. Then you can just, when changing the oil, you just insert it, twist, and then the oil will drain out this. So you don't need to remove the plug, which will mean less stress on the actual tank, and also less mess, because you can just put this hose straight in the oil can, and yeah, so it's easier oil changes and it will create less stress on the actual tank. So I'm gonna put this on, and this plug you tighten to 60 Newton meters. So then you still need to counter with the 27 millimeter. Works pretty well to have it this way, and then can kind of hold the stabilizer here. Then the Stahlbus plug is installed. Then you just need to put the protective cap on. Then you add a new washer and clean the drain plug for the turbos. So when you turn it in, you have to make sure that the washer is straight, so it goes all the way in, and it should be hidden when you tighten it. And you tighten it to 30 Newton meters. Then repeat on the other side. Then all the plugs are attached under the car. The next step is to put back the oil filter and the housing. Slides perfectly in. And use the same tool again and tighten it to 25 Newton meters. Then the only thing left is to fill with oil again. I, of course, use the recommended Mobile One 040 oil, and I have bought a 20-liter can since the car uses almost 8 liters of oil on one oil change, and it also uses a little bit between that, and it's nice to just get a huge big container like this, and it's also cheaper to buy in the big amounts. So then I just pour from that and over to these when I refill. So in total you add 7.8 liters of oil. And we're ready to pour the first 4 liters in. You take off the cap. It's always nice to check that the gasket there is nice and in good shape. And then it's just to pour slowly in. Then I've done the 7 liters, and now it's just the last 800 milliliters, and we are done with refilling. All the oil is in, everything is tightened to specifications, and here's all the old oil. So now the only thing left to do is to start up the car and make sure the level is right. Okay, the car has been running for around 15 minutes now, so it should be nice and warm. And we can go in here and check. Perfect. Everything is looking good here. No leaks or anything underneath. And I have made myself a small kit here with everything I need for the oil change next time. Hope you found this useful. See you later. Project completed.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.